This week's portion, though it's called Vayechi, which means "and he lived," really describes, for most of the portion, the preparation for Jacob's death. And the portion concludes with Joseph's death, both occurring in Egypt. The bulk of the portion, as I said, describes the preparations for Jacob's death. He recognizes that he is old and that he is about to die, so he gathers his sons around his bedside to say farewell to them. The farewell is in the form of a poem in which he, Jacob, tells each of his sons what he sees the future being for each one of them, a foretelling of what their future descendants will be like in the land of Israel when they return. Scholars ask about when this was written. Was it after the fact, when the Israelites already returned to Israel after the Exodus? Way after, when there were kings already in the land of Israel? Or was it before? That's a matter for another discussion. The point of this portion is to teach all of us to be prepared for when we die, and that even though death sometimes happens suddenly, we can prepare our children and our grandchildren appropriately with blessings, what we want to convey to them as the lifelong lessons that they should carry forth to remember us by. This concept, known as an ethical will, is very common in the Jewish community and in other societies as well, in which we can write down for posterity the values that we hold dear and what we hope our children and grandchildren will hold dear as well. There are books that you can check online about writing an ethical will, and I would highly recommend that. Though it might be a sad, emotional process, it would be an important one for your children and grandchildren to know and have in writing something that they can connect to you and your life and the values that are important to you. Shabbat Shalom.